Thank you, Scott. Good morning, members of the MEG PopTech. This meeting is now called to order. We will begin the meeting with a roll call vote of all the members.
Bear with me here. Tracy Clark, ADOT.
Here.
Bryant Powell, Apache Junction.
I'm here. Hey, Crystal.
Good morning.
Jenny Wharton, Avondale. Anyone from Avondale? Andrea Marquez, Buckeye.
Good morning. Present.
Stacey Bridge Denzak, Carefree.
Good morning here.
Steve Perales, Cave Creek. Spam Andrea, Chandler. Crystal Dykes, El Mirage.
Present.
Victor Cantu, Florence. Farhad Tabasoli, Fountain Hills.
Hi, everyone. I'm here.
Anyone from Gila Bend? Kyle Miras, Gilbert.
Good morning. I'm here.
Alex Lerma, Glendale. Christian Williams, Goodyear. Anyone from Guadalupe? Anyone from Litchfield Park? Rudy Lopez, Maricopa. Maybe. Adam Cannon, Maricopa County. Not hearing. I haven't heard. Victor.
Present, Scott. Sorry.
Hey, Adam.
Yep.
I'm probably going to say this wrong. Josh Grandinard?
Granlinard, yeah, here, City of Mesa.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Brandon McMahon, Paradise Valley.
Present.
Rob Kufus, Peoria.
Good morning, present.
And who is proxying for Phoenix? Is it David Neal?
Emily Dawson. Oh, sorry. Me
Yeah,
and
we have
David are both here from Phoenix.
Great, thank you. The more the merrier. Tara Harmon, Pinal County.
Present.
Laney Corey, Queen Creek.
Present.
Brian Myers, Salt River. Taylor Reynolds, Scottsdale.
Present.
Trevor Fleetum, Surprise. Suparna Dasgupta, Tempe.
Here.
Ben Davidson, Valley Metro. Davis Kohnauer, Wickenburg.
I'm here on phone and also Zooming, but I don't have a mic, so I have to do it over the phone.
Perfect. We can hear you. Gregory Arrington, Youngtown. Anyone I didn't name or didn't get to respond earlier? Victor, Rodolfo? Okay. Madam Chair, we do have a quorum.
Fantastic. Our next item is call to the audience. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MEG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not action. Do we have any written comments for this item?
We do not.
Seeing no one, we'll move to item or number 3 is approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 25th?
This is Kyle and Gilbert. I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Kyle. Do we have a second?
Second, Suparna. Tempe.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Oh, actually, we're going to do a roll
Let's
call vote.
do this first.
Okay, all those in favor who are present, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And then
Aye.
Scott, do a roll vote for the members participating virtually.
I'm gonna ask.
Oh, is there anyone opposed?
Just checking. So this is the fun part. I get to read everybody's name again. Not everybody, because some people are here. ADOT, Tracy Clark.
Aye.
Bryant Powell, Patches Junction.
Aye.
Avondale. Andrea Marquez Buckeye. Stacy Stenzel, Creek.
Aye.
Cave Creek. Florence. Victor. Farhat, Fountain Hills.
Aye.
Kyle Gilbert.
Aye.
Glendale. Copa, Rudy Lopez.
Aye.
Adam Cannon, Maricopa County.
Aye.
Josh Mesa,
Aye.
then Paradise Valley,
Aye.
Peoria.
Sorry, aye.
Whoever speaks first, David or Emily from Phoenix.
Aye.
Laney from Queen Creek.
Aye.
Taylor from Scottsdale.
Yes.
Parna, Tempe.
Aye.
Valley Metro. Davis from Wickenburg
Aye.
and Youngtown. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 4 is an update on the 2023 MEG long-range socioeconomic projections. Mr. Ayers will present this item, and this item is for information and discussion.
Sorry, folks, we're having a few technical difficulties here. I'm screen sharing, stop share, share screen.
Do you have it? Do you have the presentation up already? Is that?
This is the one right here. There we go. How do I do this?
Right there.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, now we can get started. My name is Jesse Ayers. I'm the Socioeconomic Modeling Program Manager here at MAG. And I'm here today to give you an update on the 2022-2023 population projections. So real quick, we'll go over, just have a few slides here on the what's and whys of what we do. You may have heard this before. Projections, timing, and some key dates that are coming up, and some of the control totals that we've received since we last spoke. So why do we do this? Well, first of all, we have to. There's an executive order that states that we have to do this 3 times a decade. In years ending in 2, 5, and 8, we receive control totals from the state demographer, and that happened at the end of last year. So we have those, and we're working now to produce the projections. It also says that we have 9 months to produce sub-county projections, but we target doing it in 6 months. So we're targeting the June Regional Council for approval of our projections. Transportation and air quality planning needs, or they need a lot of data. And of course, you folks have lots of questions and needs too. So we try to do our best to serve everyone. The latest official projections were adopted in June of 2019. They run up from 2018 to 2055. The new set of projections are based on the 2020 census, and they'll run from 2020 to 2060. We project annual population, resident, special populations, housing by type, single and multifamily, and employment by 2-digit industry sector and land use type as well. And a number of other things that primarily the travel modelers are interested in, like households by income and school enrollment, things of that nature. So this is an overview of kind of the schedule. As I mentioned, we received our final control totals from the state demographer in December of last year. So right now we're in the middle of what we call draft 0. And so we've met with 3 or 4 cities already, something along those lines. So we have a number of other meetings set up. What we do is we sit down, I have a little PowerPoint that sounds kind of like what you just heard. And then we spend the bulk of the time just browsing around on a map, looking at developments, looking at areas that could have potential for redevelopment. And we really just want to make sure that we have every bit of information from you that we can when we're going in to start actually running the model. Draft 1, we expect to have sometime in March. And at that point, the meetings we're doing right now are all virtual, but we plan to do hybrid type meetings at that point, maybe come out and visit. And we try to get as many people in the room as possible at that point to look at the projections, make sure it looks right, especially in the near term. And it really helps to have a whole bunch of different eyes on it. And of course, we'll do further drafts if needed. I'm just now noticing I have that labeled draft 3, not 2. But we'll do a draft 2 if needed, and even a draft 3 if needed. But we've done that in the past under circumstances. We'll keep working with you until you're satisfied with what we're projecting for your city. Then we are targeting PopTac in May, which is when we'll bring the numbers here for recommendation for approval to management committee and regional council in June. So that's the general schedule. It's pretty aggressive, but we've done it a few times before, so we feel pretty good about getting through it. So the last couple of slides I have these are the population projections. I can move this thing out of the way for the folks in the room. Yeah, there we go. So what we have here at the top, these are the population projections that we received from the state demographer. The longer line is the newer set since they go out to 2060. As you can see, the top 2 lines are Arizona. It's kind of tough to see here in the room because of this thing. But the top 2 lines are Arizona, the middle 2 lines are Maricopa County, and the bottom 2 lines are Pinal County. So really not a heck of a lot of difference in terms of the overall population projections. We actually get a little bit more in the near term in Maricopa County, reflecting some of the really high in-migration that we've received in recent years, but not a lot of change otherwise. I mentioned that we received the employment or the population control totals from the state demographer. These are our employment control totals. These are developed for us by Dr. George Hammond down at the University of Arizona. And he heads up the Economic and Business Research Center there and has an econometric model that produces these employment projections for us. And as you can see, they're just kind of differences around the margin. It's really quite similar to what we were working with last time. So beyond that, that's all I have for today. I'm happy to entertain any questions at all about the process or any other questions that you have.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks.
Does any of the members have questions or comments? Seeing none?
So, Madam Chair, if I just wanted to add a couple things. Jesse mentioned that we're doing draft 0 reviews right now. I think we've got about 8 or 9 of them scheduled. And so we'd love to meet with more people. It's really helpful to make sure we have all of the up-to-date development information. That's the primary thing, land use information as well, but developments is what we're really going for. So if you haven't gotten those scheduled, please get back to me. I'll probably send out a reminder today or tomorrow with what dates are remaining. And we've been doing these all online, and they've taken less than an hour, all of them. So pretty quick, and we can make sure that we've got all the inputs correct. One of the big things we've been trying to look at the last time and this time is if anybody has any kind of restrictions based on water or infrastructure or anything really. If there's a maximum population that you think your city or town can serve, we need to know that so we can tell the model not to exceed that. And if there are areas that we don't want the model to develop, especially because of concerns about availability of water, anything like that, we want to know that. And so we've been asking that in these meetings. Later today, I will be sending out an email to all of the city and town managers and planning directors and intergovs, and then the members of this committee, basically asking the same thing, just to let us know if there are any concerns about maximum population, water concerns, specific areas, anything like that. So be on the lookout for that. Just if there is anything we need to know about it sooner than later. So I think that's all I wanted to mention. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Okay.
Okay, that was just for information and discussion. So moving to number 5, updated maplet schools viewer. Number 5 is a demonstration, and Vern Wolfley will provide the update. This item is on for information and discussion. Good morning.
Morning. Let me see if I can. Up. Yeah, okay, let me find it first and then we'll get there. All right, can everyone see that?
Yes.
All right, there we go. All right. Hi, my name is Vern Wolfley. I'm one of the GIS developers here at MAG. We've been working on Maplet. Maplet's been out for a while. This is a redevelopment of it and a relaunch of it. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes just to make it a little bit easier for people to use and access some of the data that we've been sharing in the past. So this is all about schools. This site particularly is for reading and literacy and deals mostly with any of the schools in the state of Arizona who have a 3rd grade component. So there are going to be schools in here that have more than 3rd grade, but there are no high schools or anything like that unless it's a charter school that also has grades K through 12. They'll all be listed in here, but primarily this site is for Read on Arizona concerned about reading and literacy in the state of Arizona. We have a new kind of opening that kind of details what Maplet is about and how you can find information and get more information. Nice opening. You can click on any of those buttons and launch it. A lot of what we've done is in the details behind the scenes. You'll see a lot of the same things that you saw in the old Maplet. You can still see the map of the schools in the state of Arizona. You can click on any of those dots and get more information about those schools and zoom to them. But we've also given you the ability to make selections. And so not just view the data, but also now select the data and filter the data to find particular sites that you might be interested in. So you can turn on and off the dots. We have the preschool sites or early learning sites, as well as K through 12 sites. And as you can see the types. We have public and charter displayed. If you want to see it a different way, you can turn that off and change it. You can then filter those, say you're only interested in the charter schools for the state. You can filter them down. And now maybe you're looking at charter schools that maybe are Title I status and are in rural areas. So you can really filter down and find schools that are tailored to your particular interest if you're looking for information about schools. That information then is also in a tabular form. You can then, through that filter, you can kind of come in here and look at that that also. Oh, it's not going to let me. Sites. There we go. One of the new areas that we've put in this year to this redevelopment is this key topics area. This allows you to not only explore the data and the map, but also give us the ability to add some really customizable data. So if you had a particular interest in one particular area, we could bring it in here and add it in there. For instance, this childcare gap data. So if we wanted to look at the childcare gap data for this by county, you can come in here and you can see it in relation to any of the schools that you've been picking. You turn on and off the schools, but you can go back and filter those schools to find out how those are affected with the childcare gap. We can add custom basically queries or maps in here to help you find different information about whatever you're seeking to help you identify schools that might have a particular problem. So a really good area for us to allow for more customization. We still have the census area, so you can come in here and find any of the census information that you're looking for. You can click in and locate census data and how it relates to any of the schools you might be interested in. We've added the ability to click on those areas to find basically what the census tract is and information about that. But not only do we break it down by census tract, but we always also give you the ability to break it down by other levels also. So if you want to look at congressional areas and the schools that might be in there and the census data related to that, we give you that option. If you're interested in the school district's census data or zip code tabulation areas, census data, we've given you that ability to fine tune your data search around the schools that are of your interest. The big area that's very similar to the same in the last maplet is summary reports. So again, you can click in here and it gives you a summary report by the state. And we've tried to give you a ton of access to a ton of information about education within the state. So we open up with early learning, talking about how many sites are available, the childcare gap and their needs, early learning sites, how many students, schools, broken it down by charter and public, graduation rates, enrollments. This is one of the changes you'll see in Maplet this time is we recognize that people like to see data in a lot of different ways. And so we've given it to you in a chart. So this is the most current information, but we've also given you the ability to look at it in a trend. So you can look at it and say, what does my particular county look like over time, and see what that looks. And then some people really like tabular data. So again, we've given it to you in a tabular format so you can look at it. And we've kind of broken that down in all of our charts and graphs, giving you the ability to really customize and tailor the information you're looking for, hopefully to be able to really identify the school and the issues that you might have with that school and that information. Lots of really good information here about the schools that we've tried to break down and give to you. And we've done that again by state, county, district, and even school. So you can come in here at a school level. You can pick your favorite elementary school, and it's going to bring up basically similar information that you saw in the state report, although we're now identifying some quick links at the top to identify that individual school. And the information is very similar and organized in the same manner as all the others. We're hoping that this really helps us or helps you identify school information that you're looking for, and helps you find educational needs for your area and how you can help better assess them and help them grow. Are there any questions?
I have one. Nick Leftwich, City of Apache Junction. A quick question about the performance metrics, like there's the math or the letter grade for each school.
Okay.
How exactly was that gathered or reported?
So this letter grade is given out by the state. So that's a metric that they, it's a combination of different things, but they assign each school their letter grade, and we basically gather that information to display it for you here. So
Is like the math and English, is that like a standardized test score?
yeah, so these scores here for the ELA, for the English and the math scores, those are the state standardized tests. So that they're called, it used to be AZ Merit. They have a new name for it this year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is those are the standardized tests that they send out every year. Absolutely. So we break that down.
This is an excellent tool. Thank you so much for the presentation, Vern.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone online that has any questions? Oh, looks like Rob has a question. Rob?
Yeah, hi. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Sorry if I missed this. It was coming through a little bit garbled on my end. Sorry if I missed this, but on the map, when you go into the school district, it'll show the school district boundary. Is that correct?
If you go, yeah, you can find the district boundaries also. Absolutely. So we do have that, and that you can find that in several different
Okay,
locations.
all right, cool. So,
We have it up here in the census area, so you can find the Skype by school districts. If you want to find a particular school district, there's Dysart, for instance. You can definitely find the school district of your choice.
all right, perfect. That's very, very helpful. Thank you. This tool, appreciate it.
No problem.
Vern, you can get to this from our main maps page, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you can get to it directly from, let's see if I can go there. Maps.azmag. All right. So it is now up here in this link. If you click here, it'll actually redirect you to the map to read on to read about it, but you can go right, it directs you right to it. So it's now up and live. I encourage you, if you have a favorite school, take a look at it, make sure the information is right. If you have questions on it, send me an email. You know, we try to look at a lot of schools, but sometimes information does get mixed up, and we'll make sure we get the correct information if it's not accurate.
Thank you so much. I can't see if anyone else online has any questions. Could you just double check? Oh.
If you have questions, speak up.
Okay, hearing none, that was on for information and discussion. So item 6 is a presentation of Meg's analysis of the American Community Survey regional changes and trends. This item will be presented by Debbie Brown. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion. Thanks, Debbie.
Okay, thank you.
Can you
Uh,
share your screen? The down at the bottom in Zoom.
I can't even see the mouse.
They're at the top.
There you
Yeah,
are. Is this,
it's the blue circle right there.
oh, we're on Zoom. Okay.
And then share at the bottom. And pick yours. And then, yeah, that's good right there.
Okay.
And then the presentation thing right there. Perfect.
I'll get it eventually. Okay. Thank you, members of PodTech. My name is Debbie, as was already mentioned. I'm a GIS analyst here at MAG in the socioeconomic research area. And so with the release of ACS 2021, we decided to go ahead and explore the demographic change in the region using ACS 2011 and 2021. So we could look at a 10-year span, which previously we were looking at 5-year spans. This time we're going to look at a 10-year span. And so I'm happy to be here to share some of that with you today. And so jumping right in, we saw that, is there a way to make this go up higher? Nope, I can't make it go away.
The bigger green part.
I'm sorry.
Below that.
Oh, I didn't even do anything. It just moved on its own. Okay. Okay. As I said, jumping right in. Sorry, let me move this out of the way too. Arizona had an overall population increase of 12%, according to the ACS estimates. 86% of Arizona's overall population growth was within the Phoenix area MSA, 77% of that in Maricopa, and 9% of that was in Pinal County. And Phoenix received 21% of the MSA's total growth, while the next closest jurisdictions were Gilbert and Mesa, with both had 9% growth respectively. There's going to be a lot of numbers spouted out, and so these slides will be available after the presentation, which doesn't want to change. Okay, we saw an overall 15% population increase in the Phoenix MSA itself. Maricopa and Pinal counties had 15% and 20% increases respectively. We saw under 18-year-olds make up 24% of the total population in the Phoenix MSA, which is actually down 3% share of population from 2011. So there's a reduction in share of population for the under 18-year-olds. 64% of that growth was within Maricopa County, or of that share, I'm sorry, 64% share of the MSA population under 18 is in Maricopa and 6% in Pinal County. You can see here that that Phoenix has 38% share of the MSA's population under age 18, while Mesa and Gilbert come in second and third with 10 and 6%. Let's see, there was an overall 3% increase in population under 18. So although the share of population declined, the actual population actually did increase by 3%. Maricopa and Pinal County both had a 3% increase. And the central part of Maricopa, so we have Maricopa County split up into West, Central, and East. Central is mostly the Phoenix MPA area, and that actually declined by 3%. Population age 18 to 64 years makes up 61% of the total population within the MSA, and which is basically the same as it was in 2011. Of that share, 63% are in Maricopa County, 6 in Pinal. 35% of the pop 18 to 64 within the MSA is located in Phoenix, and you can see Mesa and Chandler make up second and third place share at 10 and 6%. Overall, the MSA had a 14% increase in population ages 18 to 64. Maricopa and Pinal County both had a 14% increase. Population age 65 plus and older make up 16% of the Phoenix MSA's total population, which has increased 4% share since 2011. It's about 88.5. I don't have the points in here, but it's 88.5 in Maricopa and 11.5 in Pinal County. And 23% of the pop 65 plus within the MSA is actually located in Phoenix, with the next closest jurisdictions being Mesa and Scottsdale with 11 and 8% respectively. Overall, the MSA had a 49% increase in population age 65 and older, with Maricopa having 56 increase, while Pinal saw a 74% increase. Let's see here. Minority population make up 46% of the population in the MSA, which is a 5% increase in the share of population within the Phoenix MSA. And the minority population increased by 30% overall since 2011. There's a 21% increase in renter occupied housing units in the MSA. And this map is showing the percent change by zip code. We started mapping this stuff out by zip code a lot more. We used to always were mapping it by just block groups and jurisdictions, but we get a lot of requests for presentations from people in the real estate industry, and they like to see things by zip code. So we started playing around with that data more. The actual share of total occupied housing has not, or the actual share of total occupied housing for renter versus owner hasn't really changed all that much within the MSA as a whole. You can see here it was 66-34 in 2011, and in 2021 it's 65-35. But looking at these subregions here, the West Valley and Pinal County have a much lower rental rate than these other regions, while the central area of Maricopa County has the highest at 43% of occupied units being rentals. And this is a non-seasonal vacancy rate. So when we look at vacancy rate, you have the seasonal vacancy for snowbirds and such, and then you have all the other vacancies. And so the seasonal part itself has generally made up about 3 to 4% of the housing stock, and the rest, i.e. those that are for permanent residents, not snowbirds, makes up the rest, obviously. And so we can see that the non-seasonal vacancy rate in our region is lower both than the United States and Arizona. So you can see the Phoenix MSA right here. We are lower than Arizona, and we are lower than the United States, which is 7.6% right now in 2021, or not right now, but in 2021. And Pinal County is slightly higher than any other region in the MSA. And only 4 jurisdictions in our region are higher than the actual state vacancy rate. And you can see the 4 that are higher: Gila Bend, Paradise Valley, Tempe, and Cave Creek. They do have slightly higher non-seasonal vacancy rate than the rest of the areas in our region. Okay, I did rush through that a bit, and I've presented these data for only select attributes and geographies because we were finding some changes over time in that 10-year span that we thought were a little bit questionable, and we still need more time to look at that. Specifically, declines in housing units and population, like you would have seen on slide 3, there were some areas that actually showed, which that was by zip codes, it showed a decline in population in some areas. And the housing units specifically was not making a lot of sense, which is why we didn't include any information on that as far as total numbers. But we're exploring all that further, and if there's something to report, then I'll be back to talk about it. And with that, thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of PopTech. And if you have any questions, I will try to field them.
Does anybody have any questions for Deb?
Madam Chair, this is Suparna in Tempe. I have a quick question.
Great, go ahead.
Thank you. I was told by our GIS staff, we are actually, just to caveat it, we are actually getting ready to submit our CQR for student housing in the dorms, as well as our regular population numbers. And one of the things my GIS team told me was since 2020 population census count, in 2021, ACS was showing it had 178,862, which is lower than the 2020 census. And it's not making sense to us because our permits and entitlements have been fairly high in that year. So I don't know if you have any information as to why that number is showing to be lower than the 2020 census. Does anybody?
That is a great question. And that is one of the things that we are looking into, specifically those drops from what the descent. I mean, we're not supposed to compare ACS to the decennial census because the ACS we're looking at the 5-year estimates rather than actual counts. But at the same time, still, you shouldn't, that drop is unexpected, especially in some specific areas. And that some of the questionable results that we were seeing, drops in population and drops in total housing units when we've actually been gaining population in housing units. And that's something that we are definitely looking into, like the difference between decennial census 2010 and ACS 2011 and what changes are there versus the jumps or drops from decennial census 2020 and ACS 2021. And like I said, when we figure this out a little bit more, we'll come back and see if we can explain some of the changes. I have a feeling some of them we're just not going to be able to explain with the ACS data. But if anybody else has more information specifically about why they would see a drop in Tempe for between the decennial census and the ACS 2021.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
Yeah,
there's
go ahead.
this going on, probably with your group quarters as you guys have been exploring, and we just need some more time to figure it out, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with something satisfying. But at this time, we don't have any good answers. Jesse might have a good answer though.
I have, this is Jesse. I have a comment on this topic. One thing to keep in mind about the ACS is that it is a sample. So you'll find that you can look up margin of error on any of the numbers in the ACS. So you might look, Suparna, and see if what the margin of error is on your population number. And if the margin of error is, plus or minus 5%, or who knows what it could be, you might find that what your expectation it would be higher could be within the margin of error. That's just one thing to keep in mind, because it is like Debbie just said, comparing the decennial census to the ACS. The decennial census is a real census. They're trying to get everyone, whereas the ACS, they just do a sample. So that can result in error. So that would be my only other comment to explain it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at that, and we'll also keep you posted because we got the numbers from ASU for the group quarters for, what should have been with the CQR direction. And there's a huge discrepancy. So we are almost like in the next few days, hopefully we can submit this application. We just have to get the signature of whoever is supposed to be our authorized signature, whether mayor or city manager on behalf of mayor. So that's the only part we are figuring out. But when we do that, we can send the information your way too. So you have this information, because we work very closely with ASU on the group quarter one for dorms, because there is a substantial difference even in the 2020 census as we went through that process.
Yeah, that's great, Suparna. Whenever you hear about that, I don't know how long it will take, a few months, maybe. Let us know. Goodyear actually just found out that they were successful in their challenge.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we will, and we'll send you the numbers we found. I mean, on the regular population, I don't know how much of that they're gonna take on, because it's not as high as we thought. But on the dorms with the student population, it's fairly large.
Yeah, resident population seemed a little tougher to get changed, but the CQR, or the GQR, the GQ stuff. Right.
And I can send you guys the numbers we have, because we have all that figured out at this point. All we are trying to, so I'll send it to your way, Scott, so you can send it to anybody in your team.
Yes. Once we get the results from census, the state demographer will want a copy of everything you sent them.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's fine. So thank you. That's it, Madam Chair.
Is there anyone else online have a question?
Debbie's got something else, I think.
Oh, okay.
No? Okay.
I have a question for you, Debbie.
Okay.
Can you tell us what attributes to that huge increase in the over 65 population?
I always have fun explaining that one. We just have an aging population here in Arizona. And again, more numbers that I want to look at a little bit closer to see if that percent change overall makes more sense. But a lot of it is we have a lot of snowbirds coming into the population. We have a lot of people aging, but more recent years, we're also seeing a lot of influx of younger people. So again, these are estimates over a 5-year period. And like I said, that deeper dive into specifics and margins of error is something that we want to look into.
Great. Thank you so much.
Nope.
It'll be really interesting to.
One thing we did look at recently was on average, people moving here are younger than the people who are already here. So it's one of the factors that we're trying to figure out. But yeah, I mean, people get older every day. So
We sure do.
But in the past, we've always attributed to that to just being an aging population with less children being born and people getting older, as Scott said, every single day. But yeah, that it does seem a little significant for this day and age. But again, it being estimates, just estimates, not actual counts, and over a 5-year period, where so we kind of look more at the percentages rather than the raw numbers in general. But
Thank you for that. Well, that was on for information and discussion. Our next item is the MEG Housing Dashboard. Maggie Wong will provide the update. And this item is also for information and discussion. Maggie?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the PopTech. I'm going to share my screen.
how do I get out of this presentation?
Escape.
Are you able to see my Google Chrome window?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, awesome. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maggie Wong. I'm a research analyst on the Regional Analytics Division. So happy to be here with you guys virtually today. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of our housing dashboard. And you may have seen this before. I believe the last PopTech meeting, I previewed a couple of our newer features, and now they're live and we've got some updated data. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this first tab here called Housing Update serves as a summary tab, really covering regional trends through, well, as of October 2022. So the data here and for the entire dashboard right now is updated through Q3 of last year. So I'm just going to scroll through so you can kind of see the different topics that are covered here. There's 4 sections. We've got construction and developments, residential sales, apartment rent, and then evictions and cost burden. And you might notice that the tabs at the top kind of correspond. We'll be looking at those tabs in just a bit, but this first tab really serves as like a narrative summary, similar to some of the presentations we've done throughout the community. It incorporates some charts, as you can see here, a little bit of narrative write-up. And as we go down, you can kind of see we include some maps as well. So this just really provides a summary that you can read through at any time. And we're looking to, update this maybe every quarter or so. We're still in talks about that. But as I scroll through, you can kind of see these different graphics that we have here. And like I said, we've been presenting on this quite a bit in the past year. So we just wanted a landing page where anyone can access it outside of like a PowerPoint presentation. So the other tabs here focus on a particular topic. So for example, this one focuses on sales, residential sales. So this top chart here shows median sales price in Maricopa County. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Once you click out of the housing update tab, you'll notice this blue box pop up that says select a community. And that's because all of these tabs have an interactive element to it, whereas the first tab was like a static summary. So this drop-down list here includes cities and towns within the MAG region. And we show data where it's available. Some of the smaller cities and towns, there's insufficient or missing data, but we usually have a note about that if that happens. So going back to here as an overview, this first chart here shows median sales price by the different types of housing. So there's overall single family, condo, and townhouse. And this is showing all the way back to January of 2015 through September of last year. And you can see that as you hover over the different lines, it'll show you the specific data point for that month and that type. you see that there's a little bar chart under it, and that's really just the corresponding number of sales transactions for each month. The next chart shows price trends in Maricopa County. So this is the percent of sales transactions within these specified bins over here. And we use this chart a lot because if you kind of look at the light green and the dark blue together, that would be sales transactions that are under $300,000, and that has significantly decreased in the past decade. The final thing on this tab is an interactive table that shows a comparison of median sales price for all the geographies here. So the default, it's sorted alphabetically, but you can actually click on the column headers. So for example, if we wanted to see what city or town had the lowest median sales price, the first time you click it, it'll be ascending. So then you can see that Youngtown had the lowest at $300,000 as of September of last year. If you click a second time, it'll go descending. So now you see the maximum, the highest value, which was Paradise Valley. And then if you click one more time, it turns off the filter. Same thing for the next field of percent change. And this is just showing that year over year change for September. We have some notes down here that cover some of what I talked about, which is that the analysis uses medians. Data is shown where available. So for some of the smaller cities and towns, their data might have been excluded due to insufficient or missing data. And just a couple other notes on our analysis. The next tab shows apartment rent. At the top is a snapshot of median rent in Maricopa County for Q3 of last year. So for this chart, it's comparing the different apartment types. So the first one is overall, and you can see this dashed line that goes across kind of just corresponds there. And then it shows it for studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and then 3 or more bedrooms. And as you hover over the bars, it'll give you not only the exact median rent, it shows you the number of units and then the percent change since Q4 of 2020. This next chart here is similar to what we just looked at on the sales tab. It's showing the percent of apartment units within these rent bins. So again, you can see that affordable units have really dropped in the past decade. And then we also have the interactive table for median rent. So again, this can be sorted when you click on it to look at median rent ascending, descending, and then same for percent change. The next tab shows eviction filings throughout the county. So we go back to January 2019, and this goes up to August of last year. And this is actually probably where we're pausing our evictions analysis because due to some of the newer rules, a lot of the eviction cases are sealed and we're no longer getting the granular location data we were using to run this type of analysis. So for now, we're just going to be stopping at August, but all the data is here. And again, you can filter it by city if you wanted to look specifically at your city or town. And then we've got a comparison table showing monthly eviction filings for 2022. So January through August. And again, these are clickable to sort. The cost burden households tab is pretty simple. It shows the percent of households that are paying a third or more of their income on housing expenses. That's in the teal, and that's considered cost burdened. And then in the dark blue is severely cost burdened households. So these are households that are paying more than half of their income on housing expenses. So we can see here is that it shows it for the city and town, and then it compares it to the overall county as well. And the final tab here shows our distressed properties data for Maricopa County. This one cannot be sorted by city or town. It's just a summary for the county. Previously, we used to have this data just kind of as a image chart and map, but this style is more interactive. So if you actually wanted to hover over and look at the monthly data points, you can. So that wraps up my walkthrough. This dashboard continues to be a work in progress. We're still looking to add more things to it. We're still talking about the update schedule. So you can probably expect an update either for Q1 or Q2. I'm sure I'm sure I'll be back to, show off the new data and features as they come. But yes, please let us know if you have any feedback or questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Rudy.
Oh, thank you. Maggie, for the communities that, such as Maricopa City, I didn't see, some of the data wasn't in there. How can we help? What can we do to feed you data or provide you the right information? For example, I know that the apartment rents have, Maricopa City was not listed. I don't think I saw it.
Yes, feel free to shoot us an email and we can set up a meeting to chat more. And part of it could have to do with our data source. We're getting our data from real data and we're looking at unit complexes that have 50 units or more. So we can talk through the details more one-on-one, but it could have to do with, you know, that size of the sample and such. So yeah.
Thank you. I'll send the email separately. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Maggie?
I just reiterate, I think Maggie touched on this at the beginning. You can get to this at data.azmag.gov. Data.azmag.gov.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'll do a quick demo if my screen is still sharing, hopefully. But yeah, so when you go to data.azmag.gov, that's our maps and data landing page. And this housing dashboard is currently under land use and real estate right at the top here. So it's the Housing Data Explorer.
Okay, this item was on for information and discussion, so we'll move to the next item, which is request for future agenda items. Does anybody have any requests? Okay, before we adjourn, Scott, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think we do. I think that covers everything.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Well, the next meeting of the Meg Pop TAC is scheduled for Tuesday, February 28th at 10 a.m. And with no further business, today's meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like this format.
Excellent.
The name of the speaker.
Take you offline here.